Nice. The rain has stayed away, which is very nice. The sun is dipping below the clouds, which means that we shouldn't get the sun into the camera in the second half, hopefully. I've noticed it a few times at the games here where if the sun is out, then in the second half when it drops, it's like you can't see anything. Yeah. But hopefully those clouds are going to keep it away, I reckon. So that's good for us. It's a bit windy, but other than that, should be good. Yeah, that's fine. I'm used to it. I've called here before. Like I mean, if I was up there, it would be the same. It's the final month of the season, the NPL New South Wales men's competition, and with the mid-table as locked and tight as ever, these sort of games between teams in that bracket mean so much more as the chase for the top six continues to be closer than almost any other time we've seen it in this competition. It's the Western Sydney Wanderers hosting UNSW FC live from the Western Sydney Wanderers home of football here in Rooty Hill. And it is a gloomy August, but the rain from earlier this morning has stayed away, which has meant that it is relatively clear in Sydney's West for today's fixture. And last time these two teams met at the Village Green, it was certainly a very entertaining game. And with how they've been tracking recently, we could be set for more. And with just 1 point separating them on the ladder, and as mentioned, teams jostling for position, 3 points is absolutely vital if one of these teams wants to be playing finals at the end of the year. So without any further delay, let's get you straight into the team news, starting first with the Western Sydney Wanderers. An emphatic result last time out against Spirit FC, which has continued to keep them within touch of the top six, looking to become the first academy side to play finals in the NPL New South Wales competition. Sydney FC are also vying for that. They currently occupy the top six spot, and the Wanderers aren't too far away from getting there either. They've had a busy week, the Wanderers, of course. A lot of these players that you'll see on the screen today were heavily involved when the Wanderers took on Chelsea, in particular Awan Lawal getting on the score sheet. He is, of course, the competition's leading goal scorer and will be top of the scouting report for Gabe Knowles and UNSW. Here is how the Wanderers line up. Ricky Franson starts at the back. Pearson Kasawaya makes his second appearance for the Wanderers after joining from Marconi mid-season. Number 5 is Jesse Cameron. Number 6, the captain Oscar Morrison. Number 7, Alat Abdul Rahman. Number 9, Awan Lawal. Number 10, Johnny Pavlovich. Number 12 in goal is Sam Goldberg. Number 17, Joshua Setanich. Number 30 is Anderson Back. And number 31 is Emil Katrib. As for UNSW, well, they are still in the hunt for the finals themselves. And after making a real fist of their first season in the NPL New South Wales men's competition after being promoted, they are not just safe, but they are a real chance of potentially crashing into the top six late in the season. They are 11th on the table, of course, but that is certainly very deceiving because they are just 5 points away from Sydney FC in 6th spot. And so a win here today will be absolutely critical to staying in touch of the six. But with safety more or less certain, Gabe Knowles' team can really play with a bit of freedom now. A tough loss in their last outing. They went down 4-1 at Lambert Park against Apia Leichhardt, a result that saw Apia go to the top of the table. And here is how they line up today. Number 1 in goal is Tristan Prendergast. Number 3, Emilio Vinci. Number 4, Liam Wood. Number 8, Tassitin Kumsuz. Number 9, Kevin Lopez. Number 10, Nathan Roberts. Number 14, Lockie Campbell. Number 15 is Corby Fowler. Number 17 is Jayden Harb. There's a bit of an awkward moment as the Wanderers try and clear, and there's a handball that's been called as Malfarah was pressing. Alex Malfarah playing a more advanced role to start today than what we usually see him. And that's netted UNSW an early free kick here. It's at the feet of their number 17, Jayden Harb, and the two other starters are number 20, Anthony Barbich, and number 21, Alex Malfarah. And so Jayden Harb stands over this for UNSW. A really big opportunity for the visitors early. Just 2 in the wall for Harb to try and get past here. He has produced magic this season, but that was a little too high on the attempt. Did catch it fairly well, had plenty of dip, but just a little too much extra on it for Jayden Harb, who has been one of the real breakout stars of the competition this season. First time playing NPL New South Wales first grade football for him. Joined from the South Coast Flame in the off-season, where he won League 2 Player of the Season. As Abdul Rahman is trying to get behind here and will do so. Abdul Rahman is asking for Pavlovich all the while to drop in for that cutback. It does result in a Western Sydney corner. And so a very bright start to proceedings here early. Expect these two teams to play with plenty of intent. A draw really doesn't do too much for either of them in terms of trying to play finals. In comes the corner. It's a decent delivery too towards the penalty spot. Kasawaya gets a second go at it, but can't wrap his foot around it, as Jesse Cameron and Oscar Morrison were quite close to getting in on the end of that Kasawaya corner. As mentioned, Pearson Kasawaya, just his second start for the Wanderers, mid-season signing from Marconi. Of course, previously of the Sydney FC Academy is Kasawaya. As the Wanderers have continued to try and bolster this team. Pavlovic linking up with Lawal, and now Kasawaya can use his speed behind. Early cross is awkwardly dealt with by UNSW, and now there's a big shot for a handball from Abdul Rahman, but it's waved away. These two teams coming off slightly different results last time out. UNSW, a heavy loss to one of the competition's best. Wanderers really made Spirit FC look like second best. It's an awkward bounce, and that's going to invite the pressure of Awan Lawal as Back and Abdul Rahman combine in midfield. Morrison lumping that up towards the defence. Corby Fowler can bring that down to feet again. And so UNSW can try and play forward here, but that's too close to Morrison. Goldberg, the Wanderers will play out here. Katrib, back again with Morrison. And now here is Ricky Franson. There was an interesting moment that emerged out of that Chelsea and Wanderers friendly played on Tuesday night, where Chelsea striker João Pedro was having a bit of a conversation with Ricky Franson, giving him some advice and some tips. João Pedro, of course, went on to score a hat-trick against the Wanderers defence in the 20 minutes that he played. The Wanderers at that time, though, had brought on most of the players that make up their NPL side. And as good as this Wanderers NPL team is, trying to defend against the reigning Club World Cup champions, is a task that many suffer with. They won't be the last defence to concede plenty of goals to João Pedro, will this Chelsea team. So will this Wanderers team. Now I can try and take it forward here. Morrison. That pass did get through hard, but it was too much power on it for Abdul Rahman. Pressure is coming. Kumsuz has to play out of the corner. Quick touches from the Wanderers. Get it away to Pavlovic. Here is Pavlovic. Now with Back. It's fallen awkwardly. Kasawaya is there. Another good save to get it away. And again, more shots for handball as Lopez can't hold it up under pressure. The Wanderers have really started fast, trying to move this UNSW defence around. UNSW come into this one not in the best form away from home. It's, of course, been well documented how good UNSW play at the Village Green. It's been one of the hardest places to go and pick up points this season, has the UNSW campus. But actually away from home, they've just won 2 games, only 6 points away from home from their 12 matches this season, UNSW. There's actually the least amount of points picked up away from home, and now they have to worry about this defence as Pavlovic gets forward, but that's a strong challenge by Liam Wood. There's a bit of work for the referees to do here about this ball. They've just called for a replacement. Jesse Cameron will restart proceedings with the throw. Back had it pinched off him by Lopez, and Kumsuz is thinking about the spectacular, but Goldberg was already backtracking, and I think Kumsuza just rushed the shot there. Lions' share of possession early has gone the way of the hosts, which is to be expected. Wanderers do like to play with the ball at their feet. They do stick to their principles as a team. Franson, now Malfarra presses. Pavlovich between the lines, touch was heavy, which means that Nathan Roberts can go forward, but again, Wanderers have been well stationed defensively. It's not used to being a strong defensive team, the Wanderers, but they certainly improved in that regard this season. Last season, of course, they were playing in the promotion relegation playoff after finishing second from bottom. And the 39 goals they've conceded so far this season puts them about middle of the run. It's the 11th most. So 11th least, I should say, 5th most goals conceded this season for the Wanderers, but it's their attack that has been scintillating. They've scored the most in the competition, 49 goals from 25 games, is a touch under 2 per outing. And a lot of that has to do with Owen Lawal. Malfarra recycling possession well. And now Lawal is going to start this press as Prendergast has to go long. Franson having that clear towards Katrib. That might be a loose pass that invites trouble, but they're able to get it away from Roberts. Katrib has more room to work with now as Abdul Rahman makes that run. Alat Abdul Rahman. Again, Wanderers are searching for that cutback. It's a loose shot that Corby Fowler gets in front of. So recycle possession again here, UNSW. Roberts is pushed, and that's spotted. That foul from Jesse Cameron does give UNSW a bit of a reprieve. UNSW's attack, meanwhile, has been also quite good this season. Their 36 goals is the 7th best in the competition, behind the likes of Apia, Sutherland, Rockdale. Even Blacktown have come alive in that regard with their attack recently. Defensively, that they've had to adjust to the competition a bit. They've conceded the 4th most goals, and they're up against the best goal-scoring outfit in the league right now. And they've had the benefit of experience against Chelsea to tune up for this one. This young Wanderers attack, as it's played out, UNSW can restart. Franson wisely lets that roll down for Goldberg. Pass picked off by Harb. Lopez with Malfarra, but again, just a little too far ahead of UNSW midfielder. Malfarra playing just ahead of Kumsuz and Corby Fowler today. At times we've seen him really deployed in various different positions by Gabe Knowles. He's popped up with a couple of goals himself this season, has Malfarra. Some good ones too. Fantastic feet, allows Wanderers to get forward here, but it's taken away. Setanich tried to get forward. Franson going to ground on Lopez. Now Abdul Rahman. Wanderers continue to really hold possession. Had a couple of chances early, but Prendergast hasn't been fully tested just yet, as Harb and Katrib are fighting for possession, and that incident has continued. So far, Katrib is keeping good tabs on Jayden Harb. Harb scored last time these two teams met. He scored the stoppage time winner at the Village Green. He was off the bench that day. It's given away by Morrison, and Corby Fowler has room to work with. Roberts, a head up, looking for Lopez early. Lopez able to get there, but still it's the Wanderers who continue to hold possession. Lockie Campbell might try and win it back though. He's continued his run forward here, Campbell, and had it not been for that intervention by Jesse Cameron, we've had a good crossing angle to work with there, Campbell. Here's Ricky Franson. He's just going to keep his foot on the ball. It's interesting the shape the Wanderers go into when they have the ball at their feet. The left fullback, Jesse Cameron, tends to tuck in and play a little deep, but meanwhile, Emil Katrib on this right side will get so far forward that it looks like the Wanderers almost have a back three. Fowler is looking towards the left. Will use his defenders. Campbell had to get rid of it in a hurry, though. And again, each time the Wanderers have got the ball, UNSW have put numbers in front of them to prevent them from going forward quickly and using the weapons they have up top. One the while yet to really get a proper touch of the ball. Likewise, Johnny Pavlovich hasn't had too much to work with just yet. It's either Kasawai or Abdul Rahman on the wings that have enjoyed more space, with UNSW restricting the middle of the pitch. Now Lawal is given something to work with, as going strong on Campbell. He's still allowed to continue here, Lawal. He's cut it back. Abdul Rahman, a good save by Prendergast. And that is a massive save by Tristan Prendergast. A huge opportunity for Alat Abdul Rahman, and UNSW might try and respond quickly here with something of their own. And there was a big shout from UNSW. They felt that Lockie Campbell had been fouled by Lawal. And not enough contact to warrant a foul, and now Wanderers have a lot more space to work with, and this time Lawal has been pinged. Just crossed the line of what the referees are willing to accept as contact. Lockie Campbell is one of the more experienced defenders we have in this competition. It's why UNSW signed him, of course, coming across from Blacktown City, where he had spent so many years. Campbell has seen away many high-quality strikers, and while presents a new challenge, Harb working spectacularly down this wing. Malfarah was using the triangles. Gual holding it up and just dallied on it a little too long, and Malfarah wasn't going to allow him any further time. Roberts. That's a lovely flick for Lopez. And now Lopez is battling with Morrison and had a fistful of the Wanderers skipper's shirt. And that's always going to attract the attention of the referee. Setanich swings it wide for Cameron, and now the Wanderers continue to try and search for this opening goal. Meanwhile, Goldberg in their own net hasn't really been tested ever. Prendergast already called into action early here. Katrib. Vinci is out to meet him. Still with Katrib, and can't get past the two defenders as Jayden Harb was tracking back to do his defensive duties. And so far, this has been a game almost played exclusively to the right of your screen in the Wanderers attacking half. They'll be thinking about that chance to Ala Abdul Rahman. That was a really good moment for the Wanderers, but Prendergast made himself big to get the stop. Now Abdul Rahman has it at his feet. Time to turn as well. He's going to try and latch onto this pass, but Prendergast is there. It's found through all, and Malfarah, the unlikely recipient of that through traffic. Pass is going to force UNSW backwards before they go forwards. Kumsuz under heavy pressure from the Wanderers. Again, UNSW forced to go all the way back to Prendergast again. Malfarah gets the call to turn, and now this is much more like it from UNSW. Harb. Corby Fowler. And Malfarah thought about the strike. UNSW opting to try and keep possession. Vinci, that's a good ball in towards Lopez. Was tracking back to try and get above the ball, but he couldn't do it. And Gabe Knowles will be very pleased with how his side were able to move the ball from right to left. They sustained a couple of waves of pressure from the Western Sydney Wanderers. And they were able to create a decent chance for their number 9 at the end of it. And that's exactly who you want in those sort of situations, the height and aerial ability of Kevin Lopez. Fan favourite at the Village Green, a long-time UNSW player. He was instrumental in their campaign last season that got them to the NPL and has been putting in some contributions. Scored on his last appearance, which was 2 weeks ago against Spirit FC, as Goldberg has to come out and head that away. Just 4 goals on the year for Kevin Lopez. Malfarah now has a goal in his sights. Malfarah off the post. And he struck that with real venom, did Malfarah. And he was inches away from finding the back of the net. That was a real impressive effort from Alex Malfarah. Again, 2 goals this season for him. He scored in back-to-back weeks against Sydney and St. George City a few weeks ago. And they were impressive goals too. And that's given him the confidence there, was really lining up for it. You could see he's had the goal in his sights a couple of times. He was elected to pass, and that time was a little closer and had a little more room. And Wanderers will be wise to stop him from getting more opportunities like that. Pavlovic. Abdul Rahman. Back. As UNSW put numbers in front of the ball now. Here's Jesse Cameron. And Ricky Franson. Katrib. Pavlovic makes a run towards the byline, does get there. Pavlovic, Prendergast caught that and made his presence known. Did that away, but got in the way to leave it to his keeper. Out of the way, I should say. Jesse Cameron. Now with Franson. Abdul Rahman. It's a smart pass by Anderson Back has unlocked the overlapping Jesse Cameron, and now Pearson Kasawaya goes to ground. A big shout for a penalty. And there's a question as to whether it's inside or outside the area. And I think it's just an inch outside, judging by where the referee has taken that. And again, it's the Wanderers looking so calm in possession. It started with Anderson Back dropping in, and they found Jesse Cameron, who hasn't overlapped all that often. It's usually been Emil Katrib on this right side that's done more of that sort of work. And once Pearson Kasawaya got into space, the UNSW defence were all tangled up. And the result is Johnny Pavlovic, or rather, he's left that now, and it'll be Anderson Back instead. And this is an awkward angle for Prendergast here because it's equally dangerous for a cross or a shot from this position. Equally, Pavlovic is the short option. Jayden Harb has come over to nullify any suggestion of that. Just a 2 in the wall for Prendergast. Anderson Back right on the edge of the area. It will be back. He whips in a ball, but it was too low and didn't get past the first defence. And Prendergast claims that out of the sky. And so UNSW can resume. Vinci, that's a smart pass to Jayden Harb, but again, Emil Katrib with an outstretched toe keeps that away. Not too much for UNSW to feed off. It was really just that chance for Mal Farah that he struck off the post, but even then, that was a long-range effort. Kevin Lopez had a half-decent header as well. UNSW seemed content to let the Wanderers have the ball. They'll sit in their defensive structure. Franson. Crossfield switch is looping and they'll play forward. Morrison rides the initial challenge. Malfarah isn't giving up on it though, and that's allowed UNSW to take it forward. Lopez has a backtracking defense, and now Jayden Harb. This is where he likes to work. Jayden Harb flashing his shot across goal. But again, signs of life in this UNSW attack. Wanderers cannot gift them possession in midfield. They move forward so quickly. UNSW, they have the focal point of Lopez at the top of the attack. Harb and Roberts on either wing are more than capable. And then you have Mal Farah adding some further threat through midfield. Katrib. Setanich, Lawal, Abdul Rahman. Wanderers flirting with possession around the attacking third. And again, UNSW have won it back and can think about a counter-attack here. As Malfarah was blindly searching for Jayden Harb, expecting him to be there. Now there's a player down in back play. It's going to prompt some treatment. So just over halfway through this first half. Still a very even contest. And as expected, with two teams that are not close on the ladder, but close in points. And that's going to be some sort of a improvised hydration break for the two teams. Of course, Sydney FC and Rockdale Illingdon are tied on 36 points apiece at 5th and 6th. And from 5th all the way down to 13th is just 5 points. Abdul Rahman is receiving further treatment meanwhile. It's miraculous that with just 5 games to go, that 5th and 13th, which is best part of 8 places on the ladder, separated by just 5 points. And UNSW, who are in 12th, are just 1 point behind Western Sydney Wanderers in 8th. That means that basically every team except the bottom 3 are in a real shout for the finals. Even for Sutherland, who sit now in 4th, aren't safe just yet. Of course, they currently occupy the Oz Championship spot after their big win against Rockdale. And to add further complications, and a big reason as to why the table is so jammed, is Rockdale had 3 points deducted to playing an ineligible player, which swung the result of their game against Blacktown. 3 points taken off Rockdale, 3 points given to Blacktown City. A result which has basically secured Blacktown's safety, not only their safety, but has thrown a side that was in the bottom 2 for so long right into the finals mix with these two teams as well. Kasawaya forces his way through traffic, and Abdul Rahman's back to his feet. Abdul Rahman, deflected shot, almost got through to Lawal, and he was really poaching around for something as Franson heads that out over the sideline. Franson gets that out. That's going to mean a new ball is required. And so what can UNSW do here? Barbic is over there to take this long throw. They've got some tall targets to aim for. Lopez is who they're looking for. He does get the flick on. Malfarah was lurking, but had raised his foot a little too high. And that gets the attention of the referee's whistle. Back. Cameron. Again, this UNSW defense has gotten better as the game has gone on, and that has allowed their counter-attack to come more into the contest, seeming to really figure out what the Wanderers are trying to do at the moment. They've dried up their chances since the opening stages. Harb couldn't play through the legs of Katrib. Malfarah does really well to keep that in. Malfarah. Katrib returns serve with a good challenge of his own, and then Harb had tripped up Katrib. Referee recognised it and played advantage. Meanwhile, Jaiden Harb got a stern talking to on his way back, trying to defend. Morrison does really well. He's another one of these players that has stepped up this season, Oscar Morrison. All the talk about the Wanderers coming into the year was how young and inexperienced they were. And many had predicted them to finish in the bottom 2 and be relegated after finishing 15th last season and only surviving after a pro-rel playoff against the Central Coast Mariners Academy, no less. But they have exceeded all expectations. It's certainly a case to be made that no side has overshot their pre-season predictions more than the Wanderers Academy. Not many would have thought they'd be within touching distance of the finals with 5 games to go, that's for certain. Now Farah and Harb are really starting to find a rhythm on this left side. Jayden Harb looking to cross, and that'll be UNSW's first corner of the game. You can just see slowly Gabe Knowles' side are starting to be a bit more confident with the ball at their feet, starting to play with a bit more intensity as there's just over 10 minutes to go in this first half. Meanwhile, Alex Malfarra will need to receive some treatment, and this is now very concerning for UNSW. Farah has had UNSW's best look on goal so far. And with how important he is to this team, this will really create some commotion over on the bench. Of course, they do have Thomas Quilligan, who can play in midfield. Sorry, Connor Quilligan, I should say. Both Thomas and Connor on the bench today. Looks like he is back to his feet. We'll need to leave the pitch before rejoining. So UNSW temporarily down to 10. But the good news is they have a corner. It's into the near post and Kutrib gets that away. Second go at it for Nathan Roberts. Another dangerous ball allowed to bounce. And Kevin Lopez still has it. Now with Corby Fowler trying to wriggle free. It's still with Fowler. And eventually the Wanderers chase UNSW out of their penalty area. Lopez flicks that on for Campbell. Still with Kevin Lopez. They can't find space for a shot, UNSW. Again, the Wanderers crowd out the space as former Wanderer Anthony Barbich. Another looping cross is beaten everyone. And so that attacking phase comes to an end for UNSW. Campbell. Again, it's been a real dry spell in attack for the Wanderers, and Jayden Harb switched wings over to the right. Looking to get at Jesse Cameron. Jayden Harb onto his left foot this time. It's, again, Ricky Franson. Jayden Harb, more of a right footer, but one of those wingers that likes to cut inside. There are a few of those in this competition. A lot of goal-scoring wingers like Jayden Harb. Now they go quickly. Malfarra seems to have shaken off that knock, which is very positive news for University. Another long throw for Anthony Barbich. Kevin Lopez has attracted the attention of 2 Wanderers defenders here, although none of them are as tall as he is. Lopez does get his head to it. And again, you can just see UNSW are lurking for those scraps, and again they go. Roberts. Lawal having to work with his back to goal. Abdul Rahman. Again, there's suggestions of a foul on a UNSW player as the Wanderers go forward, but we keep going. Kasawaya has wriggled free, has green pastures ahead. It's still with Pearson Kasawaya, cutting it back for Pavlovic. And I think there may have been a slight foul on Kasawaya as he was running through. The referee allowed the play to continue. It's certainly getting very physical. Another long throw. This time it's the Wanderers with Cameron. Looping forward. Roberts. The big up and under will do. And Oscar Morrison is able to crane his neck and get back to it. Although Anderson back has given that straight to Tassitson Kumsuz, who's dragged down. And that was a certain foul. Roberts. Since him and Harb have switched wings, it's really started to work for UNSW, and Katrib with a bit of a veteran move on the veteran Roberts. Just giving him a slight nudge. It wasn't a foul, but it did mean that the last touch was off Roberts' shin. Pavlovic. The big up and under from Anthony Barbic. Roberts and Lopez. UNSW in full flow now, in possession. Roberts, cheeky nutmeg and lets one fly. But all very tame. As the sun has emerged from the clouds away to our right. We're a bit worried about that. Of course, Wanderers Football Park in the second half does get that dropping sun. As it's now sending down some rays onto the pitch as Wanderers continue this attack. Well, we see a goal before the half ends. It's been very tight, but both teams have shown a real willingness to keep the ball. Katrib. Morrison. He turns back and finds his centre-back partner, Franson. Now Anderson back, who has dropped in to allow Jesse Cameron to get further forward. Here's Cameron. Good touches from back. Has to be really careful. You can see UNSW are hunting for anything that turns the ball over. Good touch by Cameron to bring that down, and now thinks about the early cross. It might fall for Awan Lawal, and you simply cannot give him those sort of opportunities. Fresh off scoring against Chelsea, Awan Lawal is back in the NPL again and add another goal to his tally for the season. That's goal number 20 on the campaign for Awan Lawal as he extends his lead at the top of the Golden Boot race. That is his 5th goal in the last 3 NPL games. He is a player of real quality, Awan Lawal. Not just a flash in the pan this season. It has been a real year of consistency. And you do not score 20 goals in this competition without really putting it together over the course of the year. And he has done just that in 2026, Awan Lawal. And of course, still has some time to try and add to that 20-goal tally. Here is Lawal, and now he's got the back heel to bring in Pavlovic. The Wanderers are on the run with Abdul Rahman, but they do bring that down. Of course, the next highest player to Lawal in the Golden Boot chase is Presley Ortiz with 17. He's 3 behind. As UNSW try and respond here, it's a gut-wrenching goal to concede just before the break, a defensive error. And now they might have their eyes on a second here, the Wanderers, as Owen Lawal has gotten behind, has Pavlovic in support. To see what the Wanderers can do. Katrib dragging inside. Now a left-footed delivery into a dangerous area. Kasawaya was around, but that punch is forced away by Prendergast. And so to put into context, Owen Lawal's 20 goals this season. Alek Yurashevsky won the Golden Boot last year with 24. And he will have another 4 games after this, including the second half of this one, of course, to try and better the Bakers' tally. The Bakers' double dozen of 24 goals. Cameron. Franson does get that flick on. It keeps the attack alive. Malfarah winning it back, and there is Pearson Kasawaya to try and barge his way through. It's a fight for possession on the ground, and eventually a foul is assessed on Kasawaya. Into additional time now in this second half, and do get that away. And it's interestingly down to the left of the sideline. I've spotted Blacktown City coach Mark Crittenden. Of course, the Blacktown youth team's in action today on the field behind us. You may have heard some celebrations on the effects mic being picked up from the grandstand. Critto keeping a keen eye on these two teams that, of course, are his neighbours on the table in Blacktown's unlikely charge into the top 6. Long throw from the visitors. Pavlovic, and now Lawal might think about going forward here. He was dragged back, Lawal. And the Wanderers are appealing for a yellow card on Tassatan Kumsuz for dragging back Lawal. Of course, not just Mark Crittenden, there's a couple of other people keeping tabs on this game. UNSW NPL women's coach, Zoran Namovsky. Keep an eye on what the men's team are up to. Of course, the UNSW women's team are enjoying quite the season themselves. Second on the table, trying to chase down Bulls FC in the premiership race. UNSW winning their first piece of major NPL women's silverware, winning the Sapphire Cup. Their men's team have put together a very good season. It's been a good year all round for the teams from the Village Green, as the referees confirmed there will be 4 additional minutes, which is a bit long for a first half, but we did have a couple of stoppages with Abdul Rahman and Malfarah in particular, receiving some extensive treatment from the physios. That's a big flick on by Lopez to keep Harb in the play. And now Oscar Morrison is going to try and receive some treatment himself. Looks like he's maybe rolled that ankle a little bit. And so that might extend the amount of time we have left in this first half. So a few minutes to go in this first half. Wanderers will want to be careful that they don't concede after doing some good work to try and score. Of course, that chance was off the back of a... You can just see Owen Lawal was... There's no other player you'd want in that sort of position for the Western Sydney Wanderers. The 20-year-old number 9. a corner to try and end this half for UNSW. Interestingly, Nathan Roberts took one from this side a moment ago. Jayden Harb will have a go here. Trying to end this half on level terms. Harb. That's a good looking ball in too. It's allowed to get through. And there's been a red card that's been brandied. I think that's to Nathan Roberts as well for something that may have happened off the ball on... Hard to see who has gone down there. And there was no hesitation from the referee. Card to Nathan Roberts, who has been given his marching orders right before the half has ended. And hard to tell on the stream having a look back, although I think the referee has just motioned that there was an elbow. I think it's on Pearson Kasawaya as well. And we spoke about UNSW wanting to get back on level terms. And it was as the cross came in, Nathan Roberts appeared to lash out at Pearson Kasawaya. And that has sent UNSW into a real terrible position heading into this break. Not only are they now a goal down, but they're also a man down. And Nathan Roberts and Gabe Knowles and the rest of the UNSW coaching staff. There's a mountain of work to do for UNSW now. Kumsu's back into it with midfield. We said that this half was going to continue for a little longer, and it's given us more drama. And now it's Kumsu's that goes in late on sets, and it's this game just threatening to really get a little fiery now. Of course, a loss for UNSW here would more or less end their chances of trying to get into the six, of course, pending the rest of the results of the weekend. But given they're 5 points away, that would be quite difficult to track down. 4 games to go and navigate through all the other teams in the middle of the ladder. Can UNSW maybe put the foot down a little harder before the halftime break comes? The second goal here would be a real double whammy for UNSW. Morrison. Back. Kasawaya makes his run, but that's far too close to Tristan Prendergast. And so that brings the half to a close at Wanderers Football Park. It's Awan Lawal's 20th goal in the NPL for 2026 that has a young academy side in front and with a real hope of making the finals. A late straight red to Nathan Roberts has really made things difficult for UNSW if they want to come back in the second half. And so at the halftime break here, it is the Western Sydney Wanderers 1, UNSW FC 0.
Every week, hundreds of thousands of people turn up around football grounds around New South Wales. Parents, kids, refs, coaches and volunteers. Cardiac incidents can happen to anyone at any time on the pitch.
Right now, not every club has a defibrillator.
And the ones that do are not always maintained or ready to use. In a critical moment, with a defib, that could save lives. That's why Football New South Wales, St John Ambulance and Toyota have come together for Every Beat Matters to help clubs around New South Wales to access defibrillators, cover maintenance and build a register so we know exactly where every unit is around the state. All you need to do is buy a ticket through Raffletix. $5 can make a difference. Every ticket goes towards funding defibrillators and maintenance for clubs that need it most. A live fundraising board shows exactly how much is being raised. And every ticket you buy puts you in the draw to win a Toyota Corolla. One ticket, real impact. Help your club be ready when it matters. So buy your ticket today.
Commanding punch. O'Driscoll's touch for Chipman. And the ball's good. O'Driscoll lays it off for Burgess. And the deflection takes it in. Set piece not dealt with. And Manly United draw first blood on Friday night. With de Robillard and Ono, who's always an attacking outlet from left full-back. He goes for goal himself. Not dealt with by Curto. And tapped in by Coop. And Manly are now full of confidence. Evans down the right. Coop there again! 2 in 2 minutes! They're still providing enough going forward to really look an attacking threat. De Robillard on the ball. Looking for goal himself. And it's going to be tucked in by Holm.
First time ball trying to pick up Meyer. Figueira hit it straight into him. Can he get it past him? Franco Meyer. That is an exceptional finish. Good ball in, and the header from Kenesi. What a finish. Risky pass there, almost getting a foot was through for Aramugo. They've done it. Robert Aramugo.
Pavlovich. Katrip's got a little bit of space here. Mustafi watching, waiting for the right time to approach. And now he engages. Katrip with a burning bit of pace. And it's a great goal for the Wanderers. Awan Lawal stoops in to head home. But first, this free kick. Anderson back. Hangs it up. And the header is in from Morrison. 2 for the Wanderers. And coming in to pick the pocket cleverly. That's well done by Chetinic. Pavlovich returns it to Chetinic. It is 3 for the Wanderers. Deliberate. Here's Petratos, all given away by Armson. Pearson Kasawaya breaking forward. He feeds it through Awan Lawal. Only one outcome when Awan Lawal has the ball in that territory. And it's 4 for...
Out to Michael Cooter, and Rory Jordan's off and gone down the outside on that left-hand side. As he's tracked across by Lockie Campbell, looks to hold him up. Rory Jordan, well, 33 seconds in. They transitioned lightning down the left there. Mount one more raid on the UNSW defence, and it gets a deflection on the way through. And I think you'll find Presley Ortiz, as he looks to make it 3 for Apia. Presley Ortiz, he doesn't make mistakes from there. Presley Ortiz gets number 2 of the night. Falls short there, and he's onside. Presley Ortiz as he skips towards the 18-yard box, tracked by Campbell. 1v1, Tristan Prendergast. Presley Ortiz gets his hat-trick. The attacking players in teams that get all the kudos, and they look to pinch one back now. UNSW.
Webster, wide for Saba. Towards the line he goes, takes on McGing, works it in. There's bodies there. There's a goal to St George City. There's the opener on 48 minutes.
feel as though Sutherland really aren't controlling the midfield at the moment as Najjar breaks forward. Tamulkovsky puts it past Nizic. Interesting starting position of Tariq Mayer on the edge of the area. Olsen steps up. And Olsen strikes it down the middle. Sutherland are level. There it goes. Cuts it back. Olsen arriving. Olsen buries it bottom corner. Some finish from Nick Olsen. Arriving late to the scene. Jordi Perez now to seal it. 3-on-1. Perez has Olsen to his left. Olsen for the hat-trick. And the win. Sutherland make it 3-1.
Fujita. Luke Quall gets a touch, and now Major can look to play it forwards. That's an excellent ball. And a chance to shoot Kunyul. It's gone through the goalkeeper, and it's an early lead. Malia. Dipped onto the crossbar. Quall with the header, and it bounces in. They have a second goal.
Welcome back to the second half of football here at Wanderers Football Park. If you've joined us late seeing the score, it is Awan Lawal that has the Wanderers in front by a goal to nil, but perhaps more significantly is the fact that UNSW are down to 10 following Nathan Roberts' late red card in the final moments of the first half, which means UNSW are a goal and a man down, chasing an important point or more, and they're unlikely push for the finals. Meanwhile, the Wanderers, they're 4 points behind their A-League Academy crosstown rival Sydney FC. And a win today would keep them in contention. As here is back past the Prendergast. It looks like both teams are unchanged. We will keep you updated on any changes as they come through. But it was a really positive first half from the Wanderers. They moved the ball well. They created chances. Eventually one came their way. And Awan Lawal took it. As now Lopez is trying to get on the end of that. It's an awkward clearance from Franson, and that means it's going to be a Western Sydney Wanderers corner to start this first half. Second half, I should say. Here is UNSW in that far side, Jayden Harb. They're going to have to defend a corner here, the Wanderers. This is where the man advantage doesn't count for as much. That's a dangerous ball in. Campbell was crashing in at the near post, but seen away. Of course, Wanderers are such a supreme attacking team. It's really hard to keep them scoreless. UNSW have a nice little bit of possession here to start the second half to try and bring a bit of positivity coming right out of the break. In the long throw from Vinci. Malfaro is in there. It's allowed to drop down for Alex Malfaro. And there is Kumsuz, but it's over and onto the roof of the cafe behind the goal. Just too much power on that shot. UNSW want to make their chances count. They didn't have too many in the first half, even when they had 11. It's only Alex Malfaro's effort from outside the box that hit the left post. That was their closest chance. And now the Wanderers have possession for the first time since the break. Morrison. Katrib. Will stay a Wanderers throw in. Now Setinic. Malfaro is hunting for possession and might just win it back here. Is pulled back, and so UNSW have a free kick. It's the sort of possession they'll like. They can use the dead ball, UNSW. The sending off of Nathan Roberts has pushed Corby Fowler into a wider role, so they're playing a 4-2-3 at the moment, UNSW. Malfaro. And Jayden Harb has brought it down. Jayden Harb! And the 10 men of UNSW were oh so close to getting back on level terms just after the halftime break. Again, it's a set-piece opportunity that they look most dangerous from. Long-range effort in, and then Alex Malfaro able to keep possession in the box. And they have the left foot of Jayden Harb to try and work with there. And a couple of big warning shots fired already by UNSW. And now the Wanderers will try and respond, but Back's pass had a little too much power on it, so Jesse Cameron has to track back without much reward, unfortunately for him. spoke about people being here at the game today. Saw Mark Crittenden. We've seen Zora Namoski of Fuktale, of course, keeping a close eye on his academy side. Of course, they'll be in action, the Wanderers A-League side, next week. They are hosting Melbourne Victory at Marconi Stadium in the round of 16 next weekend. So some of these players for the Wanderers will be vying to be included in that matchday squad. Of course, the NPL side have the benefit of being in season. Cameron trying to use the outside of his foot to play that around. And Pavlovich has gone down under the challenge. Kasawaya wants to go forward too. It's still with Pearson Kasawaya. And that will be a Western Sydney throw. You see Pavlovich is telling the referee that he felt he was fouled. Back. Now with Cameron. And Kasawaya. A cheeky back heel back to Cameron, and Kasawaya has to get out of the way to ensure that it stays a Western Sydney corner. Anderson back, and a right-footed delivery is on its way. It's in towards Prendergast, has to punch. Kasawaya is underneath, trying to head it back for a teammate. It does get to Pavlovich, and then it's Lockie Campbell that races away with possession. There's no one really ahead of him, and now the numbers arrive for UNSW. There's red and black shirts that are in the way, but that's a pass that's been sprayed wide to Harb, but now they might think about charging forward. Here is Jayden Harb. Getting inside, onto his left again. And Sam Goldberg with some tidy keeping to stop the cross from causing any further danger. Again, it's actually been UNSW, the 10 men of UNSW that have looked more likely to score in this first half. Perhaps a little surprisingly, of course, given the disparity in players on the pitch. Katrib doing really well to ride the initial challenge. Back with Lawal. He leaves it and then takes it. It's with Lawal. And now Pearson Kasawaya. But the flag is up immediately on the far side. And Kasawaya is denied his first goal in red and black. But a really well-worked move by the Wanderers. Pavlovich and Lawal. It looked like there was a bit of confusion initially as to who wanted it, but they made it work, and then Lawal moved the pass out wide. And another good flick on by Lawal. Kasawaya is into the play again. But Emilio Vinci is in a good position to make the stop. That pass is behind Fowler, and that's again, unfortunately for UNSW, what they're going to have to work with. All the passes need to be absolutely precise. We won't have an extra player there to try and win the second ball. Back, and Cameron just not on the same wavelength there. Pass goes out. Setanich. And Kasawaya goes tumbling down, but it's a clean challenge from Liam Wood. This game has not been short of physicality, that's for sure. Wanderers are a young team that tendency is against academy teams that they do get muscled off the ball a little bit, but haven't shied away from the contest. And they did draw that red card from Nathan Roberts as well. Wanderers get us back going again. The key will be adding a second goal. The longer that this stays at 1-0, the more UNSW will feel that there might be a chance of getting something. Cameron, that's too close to the goal line. And as the game goes on, the natural tendency for the Wanderers will be to sit back and preserve what they have, especially as we get towards those last 10 minutes and they only still have the 1-goal lead at that point. But if they could add a second and a third quickly here in the second half, this game will very quickly get out of the hands of UNSW. UNSW have done a great job in these first 10 minutes. Created some good chances. Recognised how they can go forward. Barbic into Kumsuz, and now Corby Fowler's there. Finds the pass to Malfarah, and now Jayden Harb. Kumsuz has his head up and forward with Fowler. And Kumsuz has gotten into the area. Tacited Kumsuz. Again, it's another opportunity for UNSW that the Western Sydney Wanderers have been unable to stop from getting through. And that'll really please Gabe Knowles with what his team are able to do. Despite being down a man, they are playing with plenty of positivity. And it's another reminder, if they hadn't been warned already, the Wanderers' defence, that they cannot take it easy against this 10-man UNSW team. Franson. Morrison. Setinic had a pocket of space, but his touch was heavy. Pavlovic cleans it up, though. And more good defensive interventions by Alex Malfarah. Now Anderson back is charging through midfield. Back. Lawal into the area. Lawal did get his man to ground, but couldn't find the angle through. And again, UNSW stand tall defensively. Looks like Jesse Cameron has thoughts of a long throw here. And launches it in. That's a great throw by Cameron. Lawal on the turn. It's still with Lawal. Fitting it to Abdul Rahman. Didn't quite catch it as sweetly as he wanted to, Abdul Rahman. And it swerved off the outside of his boot and wide of the goal. More opportunities for the Wanderers to add a second. It will be there for them. Morrison, a big up and under, is going to put Campbell into the air. Referee has to get out of the way. Corby Fowler with a nice turn. Harb having to check back in to receive this, and Lopez wasn't in the position Harb thought he was. And Sam Goldberg will not be in a hurry, but Wanderers will want to keep this momentum going and keep the tempo of the game nice and high. Wanting to give UNSW a bit of extra running to do. Vinci going to ground to clear. Looks like a double change maybe on its way from the Wanderers and for UNSW. 2 players on either bench receiving final instructions, waiting to come on. Kasawaya. Cameron is on the overlap. The wing-back's getting further forward for Western Sydney. Cameron, a decent ball in to Kasawaya, but no shot is at the end of that sequence. Malfarra. Barbic can't bring that down to feet, and again, it's been hard work for UNSW. We've gone past an hour gone. Pavlovic. Dancing with the ball at his feet and with Lawal. Tried to sell the dummy to bring Abdul Rahman into the attack, but UNSW wiser to it, and Wanderers continue to play really fast through midfield. A nice touch by Setinic, brings it wide for Kasawaya. Kasawaya swerving and dipping, and Prendergast and Liam Wood were in 2 minds. Wanderers won a corner, but it will just be a University goal kick. And so here come those changes. Will be a triple change for University and a double change for the Wanderers, so this will be a real test. Jayden Harb and Alex Malfarra exit the pitch. Looks like Kevin Lopez will also be departing, so those are the 3. Looks like Connor Quilligan, Thomas Quilligan onto the field of play, as well as Sean Woods. Meanwhile, for the Wanderers, it's going to be Johnny Pavlovic and Anderson back coming off. And Giorgio Hasarati is on. As Kasawaya will try and track this down. He will get there before it goes out over the sideline. There's Marko Radovancevic, and so that's all 5 substitutes all covered now. Both teams on the hour mark is looking for some fresh legs to try and change this game. That might create a bit of chaos. 5 new players into the mix now. UNSW have thrown on an entirely fresh attack's worth of players, and now they get forward. It's a good claim by Goldberg. It had to be quick because Sean Woods was in a good position. Emilio Vinci getting forward. Well, Jayden Harb looks like he has stayed on. I think I mistakenly said he was substituted. It was just Lopez and Malfarra, who've since been replaced by Thomas Quilligan, Connor Quilligan, as well as Sean Woods, the 3rd man in. So what can these new changes do for both teams? Wanderers in search of the 2nd goal that would basically secure 3 points. 2 is a tall task for the reduced numbers of University. Radovancevic. Now Oscar Morrison. Wanderers happy to keep the ball in this area, even if it does mean slowing things down a little bit. It means that UNSW don't have it, and Abdul Rahman is well marked by Campbell, but Abdul Rahman does get there, and it's fallen kindly maybe for Hasarati, who's trying to force his way through, but that's really good defending by Liam Wood. He's being physically hounded by the fresh Giorgio Hasarati. Cameron getting there. And now Kasawaya, that's fancy feet, and he gets through, and the cheeky nutmeg to evade the 3rd defender, Pearson Kasawaya. And has had a goal taken off him today, but has been very good nonetheless in his first game at Wanderers Football Park since joining across from Marconi. Didn't make his debut last week, but that was an away game. Fowler fights for possession and wins the foul. Of course, there's action happening around the grounds. Sutherland and Wollongong has kicked off over at Seymour Shore. Of course, that's another important game for these two teams because Sutherland and Wollongong are other teams in contention for final. Sutherland, of course, in fourth aren't mathematically secured in that position. It's positive work by Sean Woods. There's one inside a deep throw, and now there's going to be some chatter about who takes this throw. And it's the University Central defenders. Liam Wood and Lockie Campbell lumber their way into the box. A long throw from Sean Woods to come. Can UNSW try and jag something back here? It's low and it's flat. Campbell gets there. Play continues though. That will be in the corner for UNSW, so an opportunity from the set piece. They've put in a couple of good deliveries so far. They do have the height advantage over the Wanderers. And this is where it can be quite dangerous. So Jyden Harb stands over this one. An out-swinging right-footed delivery is on its way. They're all around the penalty spot at the moment, UNSW. Now they make their move. It's a good corner and it's punched onto the bar by Goldberg. It's not away just yet. Lockie Campbell had a great opportunity. It was saved by Goldberg. And now Harb puts the ball in. Another good save by Goldberg. Would have seen it late. And meanwhile, there's a second ball on the pitch, but the Wanderers are through. And Hasarati is racing away to try and get there. It was onside because he was in his own half. And so a chaotic sequence comes to an end, but oh so close from UNSW. They couldn't have been any closer than that. A fingertip save by Sam Goldberg to deny Lockie Campbell the second phase of that corner. He tipped it onto the bar. And then Jyden Harb put in a cross which went through all the defenders and attackers, which Goldberg again was able to palm away. And in all honesty, in this second half, it has been UNSW that have looked more dangerous in attack. Kasawaya trying to add the second now as Hasarati was trying to play on the shoulder of Campbell. Or, sorry, Liam Wood, but just held his run a little too much, trying to stay onside. Another good flick on Sean Woods. Here is Thomas Quilligan. Connor Quilligan with a strike! And how great a strike it is! Connor Quilligan at the top of the box, letting fly and letting it into the top corner, out of the reach of the keeper. And so the 10 men of UNSW have it back to 1 goal apiece. And Wanderers can't say it hasn't been coming. They've had plenty of opportunities in this second half. And they've had better opportunities at that, but it takes something spectacular from Connor Quilligan. And that goal now really swings things in the context of this game, but also in the context of the race for the top 6. There's a goal of real quality from Connor Quilligan. We mentioned that UNSW threw substitutes on to try and swing the outcome of this game. And for a first goal of the season, that is not half bad at all from the UNSW midfielder. Of course, he's been in the NPL before, did play previously at St. George FC in their first season in the NPL a couple seasons back. That year they were able to hold on to survival. And just his 22nd appearance of the season has mostly started for UNSW this season. It's only his 9th game from the bench. But that was something out of the top drawer, and now that is going to cause a real sense of urgency from the Wanderers. We mentioned that one goal wasn't going to be enough, but they had to really put a second past UNSW when it counted. All momentum is now with the visitors and the 10 men in the yellow and black. Jyden Harb, he has an eye for the spectacular. But Sam Goldberg didn't look particularly troubled. And Jyden Harb will no doubt be the danger man. Scored the 92nd minute winner at the Village Green the last time these two teams met. And what was coincidentally a 2-1 win. UNSW hoping for a similar scoreline, although they'll have to do it with much more adversity than they did at the Village Green earlier this year. Radovancevic. 10 men of UNSW now sitting back, biding their time. How will this Wanderers team respond? A draw for either team doesn't do too much. 4 points and 5 points outside the 6 respectively. I'd be hoping for other results to go their way across the weekend, including elsewhere tonight and tomorrow, especially when Sydney FC will travel to Valentine Sports Park to take on Blacktown City. And that's a big game for Blacktown as well, because that's a real 6-pointer in their hopes for finals, because they could cut the deficit to Sydney FC to just 2 points. Meanwhile, Sutherland have taken the lead against Wollongong. Various teams' hopes of finals could improve or very much be ended this weekend, with a lot of the mid-table playing each other. There's Prendergast going long. Excellent work by Sean Woods to keep that in. Corby Fowler. Liam Wood trying to force the pass through traffic. Abdul Rahman going to ground, and now there's a foul on Abdul Rahman, and it's going to be a yellow card issued to Lockie Campbell once he gets up. Again, UNSW almost the masters of their own demise there. Just needlessly forcing a pass through the middle of the pitch. And so Alan Lawal is going to stand over this free kick. It's about 25 yards from goal. Certainly shooting range. And he has sole ownership of this dead ball opportunity. Tristan Prendergast is getting his wall inches right now. There is 5 men in it for him. Alan Lawal trying to force it through, but the wall did its job. Franson. That's catching practice for Tristan Prendergast. And so if Wanderers don't find the second goal or more and get 3 points, they'll very much see it as 2 points dropped, or maybe even 3 points dropped if UNSW can get something here. And UNSW have battled so valiantly, as has Jyden Harb. And now he's won his side. The free kick. As the sun continues to shine down, it's getting lower now, much to our inconvenience in this grandstand. The Jyden Harb again on this corner. More changes are on the way from Western Sydney Wanderers. They've got 2 players waiting in the wings, maybe even 3. I'll have to worry about this free kick though. Harb. Sean Woods is underneath it, but couldn't direct it goalwards. What do either of these teams have left? What do the 10 men of UNSW have left? They've been playing since the start of this half, down to 10, but it hasn't felt like it. Lawal peeling off the shoulders, trying to get it onto his favoured right. UNSW had him covered. That's important defensive work by Radovancevic. It's awkwardly bouncing. Hasarati is waiting for it, but he was in an offside position. And as the assistant immediately flagged against him on the near side, far side I should say. Of course, Wanderers did have a goal disallowed. Pearson Kasawaya found the back of the net but was flagged, and so now here come those two changes. Emil Kutrib and Ala Abdulrahman are off. Looks like Mustafa Abdelatif is on. Confirmation of the second player on in just a moment. Meanwhile, Franson trying to keep that ball forward and away. And now there's a foul on Sean Woods. Jesse Cameron is going to be booked. Can't have too many complaints about that one. Looks like Oscar Moore was the other player to join. So Wanderers throwing more fresh legs on in search of the second goal. 15 minutes to go at Wanderers Football Park. Connor Quilligan's goal cancelling out Alan Lawal's, meaning it's a goal apiece. And Jayden Harbour's had a couple of these deep free kick opportunities. Wanderers have set their line quite high. It's a good few metres ahead of where the 18-yard box is. Harb. It's swerving, it's dipping, it's forced a good save from Sam Goldberg with Lockie Campbell on the diving header. It's been a while since Tristan Prendergast was forced into a save, which is not what you'd expect from the team down to 10. It's a funny thing how these red cards can impact games. Some coaches will say they always prefer playing with 10 men. It gives them a lot less pressure and it sort of solidifies what they need to do. There's Cameron, another dangerous long throw. Franson is in the mix. It falls, but it's over from Rocco McNamara. Another one of the substitutes onto the pitch. Yeah, it does actually look like Wanderers have cleared their bench except for Marcus Savage and Ashton Crawford, the backup keeper. UNSW, meanwhile, still have Jack Fulton, Ollie Pufflet and Gil Duffy. I wonder if they bring on Ollie Pufflet maybe late in the piece. That's the change you'd expect from Gabe Knowles, a figurehead at striker. Add some more fresh legs into it as Sean Woods' throw is going to put some pressure on Connor Quilligan here. Pass is forced wide, and that's going to be a throw-in for the Wanderers in the attacking third. Looks like it may be Jack Fulton who is going to be given 10 minutes plus a little more to try and stamp his mark on this game. Morrison. That's good towards Hasarati. Was inches away from connecting with it. And still we wait for that second goal. It would be a shame if this game didn't have a winner. It's deserved a bit of late drama. And we've been building towards that as the second half has gone on. Prendergast's goal kick is a little awkward. It means Wanderers can take this throw. And there's Going to have to wait to get the ball back here, the Wanderers, because it went out over that fence. You know, actually looks like Oscar Moore has been sent all the way to the far left side to retrieve the ball. I think it may have gotten stuck behind the bench, actually. They've manoeuvred the stretcher to try and force it clear of the jam. The ball has been retrieved, so Jesse Cameron can take this throw. Has a really good arc on his throws. Jesse Cameron has put in two ones in particular that have made it all the way to the far post. Radovancevic. McNamara. Now Ricky Franson. Wanderers start to inch forward and get more players into it. It's awkward from Corby Fowler, but Tristan Prendergast will get there. And no real suggestion of a back pass at all there. And 10 minutes to go in this game. Plus stoppage time, of which we should have a decent amount. Campbell. Sean Woods fighting for possession, but it's the Wanderers that have it. Morrison driving out of the back, wide with Jesse Cameron. Here's De Latif, but there's a bit of extras over there on the far side between him and Connor Quilligan. Referee just keen to keep a lid on those. Already had one red card today. We've had a yellow card, of course. NSW are still yet to make that long-awaited substitution. That's an important flick on because Jyden Harp still has possession, but De Latif is there. Liam Wood going back to his keeper. Game has become a bit disjointed in the last few minutes. Both sides rushing things a little bit. Maybe forcing their way forward instead of going back to what was working. They both look really good with the ball at their feet, but the ball has been out of play quite a lot in the last 5 minutes as they try and force their way forward. And UNSW may have won it back here. They have. Sean Woods and Connor Quilligan. Jyden Harb is out in a bit of space, but unable to control that long pass. Abdelatif. Early cross intended for Hasarati, but more catching practice again for Tristan Prendergast. Has had a very quiet second half and has unleashed a really good ball wide. Sean Woods is interested in it, but dealt with fairly comfortably by the Wanderers defence. And now there's a collision between Oscar Moore and Anthony Barbic. Oscar Moore has sort of sold Barbic, but all ruled to be innocent from the referee. Lowell passes a little loose. Connor Quilligan. And now Jyden Harb. UNSW actually have a 3-on-2 here as Jyden Harb can get forward. It's still with Harb. And still, but deflected out of play. Going to be a UNSW corner with 6 minutes to go. Again, they had numbers going forward, and it's rare that you see in a game which is 10 versus 11, the 10 have a numbers advantage on the counter-attack, but that's exactly what UNSW had right there. As Harb will go across to take this corner. What can they create here? UNSW will be an unlikely comeback, but it will be important to try and keep their finals hopes alive. Meanwhile, Oscar Moore has gone down. We saw it in the first half, at the end of that half, where Nathan Roberts lashed out with his elbow on Pearson Kasawaya, which sent him to an early afternoon exit, which has UNSW in the predicament they find themselves in right now. Here's the corner from Harb. It's a good ball in as well, and it hasn't been cleared by the Wanderers. It's still bouncing around in the box, and eventually they get it away, but it looked like Anthony Barbich and Sean Woods were, just Sean Woods was most interested. Liam Wood also lurking around. Anthony Barbich back to take the throw, but there is going to be another chance for UNSW, at least one, if not two, on the balance of what they've been creating and the frequency of final third entries that they've had. Conversely, it's going to be hard for the Wanderers to get forward on the balance of what they've shown us so far in this second half, particularly the first half. They were almost better, 11v11. Franson trying to split open the defense. McNamara. A low bouncing cross is temporarily seen away. Radovancevic recycles again through Franson. Rocco McNamara. As the lights have flicked on, and that we've ticked towards 5 o'clock here at Wanderers Football Park. Franson looking for Lawal, does find him. And now Rocco McNamara is there, flashing it across goal. And Hasarati taps it in. A well-worked goal by the Wanderers as they make their advantage count. And there's some discussions between Prendergast and the referee meanwhile. But it is going to be a second goal for the Western Sydney Wanderers. And Tristan Prendergast isn't happy about something in particular. He's taken issue with, I think, Awan Lawal. But Giorgio Hasarati has made his impact felt. Goal number 11 in all competitions for him this season. But that is his first goal in first grade. Well, the 17-year-old that recently signed a scholarship deal for the Wanderers, a real player to keep tabs on. And it's off the back of some good play from the Wanderers. They haven't been able to get into their rhythm too much in this second half. They've been disrupted by UNSW. But they're able to work it out to the left. They made the numbers advantage count, and it's a good ball from McNamara as the substitutes combined. And Hasarati has his first goal in NPL men's first grade. And so now what do UNSW have in response? They've had opportunities to take their second goal as well. And they've thrown caution to the wind here. Meanwhile, in the process of all that, they made some substitutions. Ollie Pufflet is out there now. You see him on the ball. As Hasarati flicks it on, and now they can keep getting forward here. Oscar Moore trying to cut it back. Last touch was off him, and so a minute and a half of the 90 remain for UNSW to try and get something back. Pufflet trying to play in the other substitute, Fulton. Hasarati searching for Lawal, but Lockie Campbell has him covered. Liam Wood. A long pass is brought down well by Fulton. Centrally for Pufflet. Wide here for Sean Woods. Onto his left, deflected. And Cameron gets that away. Only as far as Fulton. Abdelatif is in his way, though. And anywhere will do for the Wanderers. That will almost get out of play, but Anthony Barbich able to keep that in. Sean Woods isn't. And so the end result of that sequence is a Western Sydney throw, as all eyes will soon turn to the fourth official, as we will learn how much time is going to be added on. And now there's a bit of extras there between Hasarati and Liam Wood. And Liam Wood won the ball and gave Giorgio Hasarati a mouthful for it. And this will all suit the Wanderers. They're the ones with the lead. And it's going to be 4 minutes of time added on. And I fancy that might be the result of something that happened after the goal. Because if you remember, Tristan Prendergast wasn't happy with something that may have been said. Abdelatif tracking back well. Hasarati turning. Wanderers getting forward. Trying his luck from way downtown, but that's over. Tristan Prendergast was temporarily worried. Sean Wood. Wood's keeping with it. Campbell splitting between the lines for Fulton. That's a loose pass. Connor Quilligan. UNSW trying to get possession. Now they get it back on the deck, and just too many numbers of Wanderers players in front of them. Mustafa Abdelatif playing forward. Giorgio Hasarati trying to unlock the pace of Lual. Oh, it's loose from Prendergast because here is Setinic. And Giorgio Hasarati. Deflected cross finds its way to Prendergast. So, again, UNSW able to just defend that away, but still behind on the scoreboard, thanks to Giorgio Hasarati's first goal of the season. He's had a prolific year in the 20s competition, as mentioned, has scored 10 goals there. And has slowly become a bigger part of this first grade team. Harb shaping up his man. It's with Jayden Harb. Again, Morrison stands tall in the way as Hasarati goes to ground and draws the foul out of Sean Woods. It's good work by Giorgio Hasarati, just drawing the contact, getting between man and ball. And that will buy the Wanderers precious seconds to take off the clock. The referee has given the Wanderers the hurry up. Goldberg to take and just put that in towards the corner. Pufflet wanted to switch, had it pinched.